If you just want to know the SBI PO salary, I'll be showing it to you very soon in this video. But if you are also interested to know how to increase your in-hand salary in SBI and also how to decrease your liabilities, then I'll be giving you a lot of tips and I have a lot of things to reveal. So watch till the end if you want to know all about that. Join my Telegram channel to stay connected with important PDFs, links and other information regarding bank exam preparation. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and share it with your friends so that everybody can get access to this information. And if you are new here, my mission is to empower you with the tools you need to get success in all kinds of competitive examinations. So if you want to join me in this journey, please click on the subscribe button and also do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. Let us begin with this video. Hi, this is Shupriyo. So as I told you, I will be showing you the salary slip first. So let's go. This is the salary slip of an SBI PO. So this is my first salary slip. So as a SBI PO, you are going to get this salary slip and this is how it actually looks. So you have on the left hand side your earnings, on the right hand side your deductions, and at the end, as you can see, you have your take home pay. However, this is not your entire salary. So this is only the salary that you are going to get credited to your bank account, but there is a lot more to unpack over here. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of other factors as well. So this is not your entire salary. So I will explain each and everything in this video. So let's take a look at what we are going to cover in this video. So first we are going to talk about the basic pay, and while I discuss the basic pay, I will also make clear about the various different types of allowances that you can get. So some months there will be different allowances that you can get from SBI, and I will be covering each and every one of them, and I will talk in detail about the basic pay, and then we will cover the Dearness Allowance. So the Dearness Allowance, it is actually something that is given to you to adjust for inflation, and I will talk you through the exact significance of the DA, and then we will be talking about HRA and the leased accommodation. So you can either get HRA or you can get leased accommodation. Two things together you will not be getting, so only one you have to get, and we will be talking a lot more on that. We'll also look into all the deductions, so each and every deduction I'm going to cover in detail, and then I'll talk you through how to reduce the liabilities. So there is a small way in which you can decrease the deductions that are being done to your salary slip, and I'll take you through that. And then you have the allowances and perks. So I will be talking you through each and every allowance that you can get in SBI, all the perks that you can get, and as I told you that the salary slip, that is the amount that is going to get credited to your bank account. That is the net pay. However, there are additional allowances as well, and we'll be talking about those in that section. And finally, we are going to wrap it up with the smart compensation package. So this SCP, as we call it, it is a new addition in SBI, and it actually changes a lot of things. So there is a need to look at it holistically. And finally, we are going to talk about the entire salary and how much salary everybody is going to be getting. So there are lots of interesting things to cover today, and let's begin with the first thing, which is the basic pay. So when we talk about the basic pay, this basic pay, it was actually last revised in the 10th bipartite settlement, and as of now, for all the public sector banks, the basic pay, it stands at 23,700 rupees. So this is the basic pay as per the 10th bipartite settlement, the 10th BPS that we call. And of course the 10th BPS, it was actually signed in 2015, but it commenced from November of 2012. So from that time frame, the 10th BPS was actually started. Now talking about SBI, so we have actually this entire thing for our JMGS1. So for JMGS1, the Junior Management Grade Scale 1, so from JMGS1 you have this thing. So in the SBI notification as well, you can see this. You have seen this, I think. So if any of you do not know how to interpret this, so basically it's talking you through the entire structure, the revision structure. So first you have 23,700, which is the lowest basic. Then you have 7 increments. So this number 7, it means 7 increments of 980 rupees. So in the first phase you have 980 rupees, 7 increments. Then after you have added like 980 into 7, after you have added this amount, you will be arriving at this amount. So 23,700 plus 980 into 7, this gives you 30,560, and after that you have 2 increments of 1145, then it reaches to 32,850, then 1310, 7 increments. Finally you will be reaching 42,020. So JMG1 at the end of the scale, the highest basic pay that the JMG1 can actually expect is 42,020. But usually what will happen, before that highest scale is reached, you are going to get promoted. So there is no need to look at that. The number that is most important, it is 23,700. This is the important number for a starting SBI PO. Now there is a specialty about SBI. So what is this specialty that we are talking about? The specialty is that SBI is going to give you 4 additional increments, 4 increments of 980 rupees as you join SBI. So when you are recruited as an SBI PO, automatically you get 4 increments of 980 rupees. So this is added to your 23,700. So for an SBI PO, what the SBI PO will get, the 23,700 will be there, 23,700, and plus what they will be getting. So in addition to this, you will be getting 4 increments of 980 rupees. So what is this amount? 4 into 980, you are going to get 3920. So 3920 is going to be added, and final what do you get? You get 27,620. So this is the amount, 27,620, which is going to be your basic pay. So I'll just show you back to the salary slip. Yes, now you can see that the basic, it is 27,620. So now you understood how we have actually calculated this. Now there are also some extra allowances that sometimes you will be getting depending on your place of posting and also a few factors. So there is something called a CCA, which is a city compensatory allowance. So this is actually only provided when you are in a major city or you are in a town, in a larger town. So the maximum amount that you can get from CCA, it is around 880 rupees. So this is your maximum, but there are some cities which will be giving you 600 rupees, some 700. So like that it varies, but the maximum is 880 rupees. And then you might also get earning arrears. So sometimes what happens, there might be an extra increment which you did not get. So for example, there are extra increments that are provided to SBI POs if they can actually crack the JIB exam and also the CIB exam. So these kinds of increments, if somehow you did not actually get it on the right time, then later on they come to you as arrears. So you might get earning arrears out of this, and you can get some extra amount in that month. Now sometimes the arrears can also be negative. So if there was some kind of calculation issue with your salary, the next month they might be deducting your salary as well. So that also sometimes happens. And then you have the miscellaneous allowances. Now what are the miscellaneous allowances? So basically there are certain situations, certain time frames when you will be getting some extra money. So for example, the demonetization period, there was a miscellaneous allowance during the demonetization period. The people who had actually worked in the bank, who had actually gone through a lot, so they were compensated in the monetary terms by a miscellaneous allowance. And also recently there was the COVID-19 allowance. So there was an allowance for this thing that we are dealing with right now, and for that also there was some allowance provided. And these are the kinds of things that sometimes you can get in your salary slip, and it can actually increase your net salary, your gross salary actually. So let us move to the next thing. The next thing is the impact of the Dearness Allowance or the DA. The DA is basically paid to employees by the government. Anybody who is working in the public sector, they get this DA to actually compensate for rising prices. So this DA, it will actually protect you from inflation. So whatever is the current inflation in the market, based on that, the DA figure is actually decided by the government, and then you are going to get paid. So this is all about the DA. So it is just a inflation protection, you can say, and it is provided to both the employees and also the retired persons. And what is the calculation of this DA? So this is actually interesting. I'll show you. As you see, there is a difference between the calculation of DA of a central government employee and a bank employee. So for a central government employee, the DA, it is calculated calculated as average of all India consumer price index for the past 12 months minus 115.76 into 100 by 115.76. And remember that the DA for the central government employees is revised every 6 months. And now as we come to the bank staff, so the bank staff DA for a particular quarter, it is decided. So the bank staff, they are actually paid the DA calculated based on the average of all India consumer price index for the 3-month period preceding the current cycle of DA. So the DA of a banker, it is revised every 3 months. So as you see that for a banker, every 3 months you will be getting a new figure of a DA. So this DA, it is going to be differing a lot. So I'll show you the salary slip again. So as you see, this was the DA that was there a while back, and this is the DA that we are working with. And right now this DA, this same DA, it has actually been hiked. So right now the DA has been hiked, and the DA, it has been hiked to 75.9%. and right now the people who are joining right now, they will be getting a lot larger salary just because of this DA. And this DA now, what is this a percentage of? So this is very interesting, and many people will be saying that it is the percentage of your basic pay. However, they are making a small mistake, and I'll explain you a little bit later about this this calculation. The first thing you need to know is about the special allowance. So what is the special allowance? So the special allowance, this is the new allowance that was actually proposed to be introduced in the 10th bipartite settlement, and this, it is actually 7.75% of the basic pay. So this special allowance, very important, it is 7.75% of the basic pay. So this was actually arrived at in the 10th bipartite settlement, which actually got passed in 25th May 2015, but it is with effect from 1st November 2012. So now you understand what is a special allowance, and this special allowance, I'll just show you with a figure, you will understand better. So as I told you that the DA that I am working with from my first salary slip, it is 47.8%. So this was the DA long time back, and right now it has of course been hiked to 75.9%. So that is the current figure, 75.9%. But I will be showing you with this salary slip. So I'll just show you what is happening. So basic pay, as we told already, 27,620, and now dearness allowance, this figure. Okay, now note this very interesting thing, that if you are doing the DA as a percentage of the basic pay, like most people will tell you to do, then what happens? 47.8% of this. What does this mean? This means around 13,202. However, this is not matching with 14,225. How we are getting this is, we are actually using the special allowance. So as I told you, special allowance is 2140.55. So what you have to do to actually arrive at this, you have to add 27,620 with 2140.55. So how much is this coming to? This is coming to 29,760.55. So 29,760. Now if you do 47.8% of this figure, if you do this figure, just you can do the calculation yourself, then you will get 14,225.54. So this is how you are actually calculating the dearness allowance. So the dearness allowance, it is not just of basic, it is basic plus special allowance, a percentage of these both. So I hope that you understood the calculation, and now it is crystal clear to you how we are actually calculating this. So let us move to the next section. Now we come to the house rent allowance and the leased accommodation. So I'll be talking you through both of these things, HRA as well as leased accommodation. Now when do you get HRA? So house rent allowance, this is actually provided by SBI when you do not have any kind of leased accommodation. So if you have not taken any lease from SBI, then they will be providing you with the house rent allowance. Now let's just see my salary. Yeah. So as you see, the HRA, the amount is 1,933.40, and this is actually 7% of the basic pay. So this was what was paid to me on my first salary slip. However, note that this HRA, it actually varies quite a lot. So the variance is actually 9%, 8% or 7%. So either 9, 8 or 7% of the basic they will be paying you as HRA based on the location. But the most important thing now we come to is the lease accommodation. Now what happens with the HRA is that when you join the bank, you do not have any kind of leased accommodation. So for a short while you can take the HRA, and sometimes what used to happen earlier, the POs used to be moved quite a lot, so it was not feasible to take a leased accommodation at every small branch that they would visit. So sometimes you might be staying for just 2 months or even 1 month in a branch, and there was no point to take a leased accommodation. But if you see that you have been given a posting for at least 1 year or even 6 months to 1 year, then you can take the leased accommodation, because it will be a lot of savings on your part. And the best thing is that SBI will also be paying you the advance amount. So usually they will be paying you 6 months to about 10 months of advance. So for example, in big cities like in Bangalore, you are going to get about 10 to 12 months of advance. So they will be paying the entire thing, nothing you need to pay from your pocket. So even the brokerage amount, whichever is the brokerage amount that you have been asked to pay, you can ask SBI and they will be paying the entire thing. Just you have to get the certifications, and of course it will be paid to the broker's account, and so you do not have to spend even a single penny from your pocket. This is the best thing. And about the leased accommodation, what is the amount that you are going to get? So in the rural or the semi-urban areas, you are going to get a minimum, this is a minimum, remember, of 8,000 rupees. So at least 8,000 you are going to get no matter where you are. This rural or semi-urban, these are actually called the RUSU postings, the rural and semi-urban postings, and it's important that 2 years of RUSU posting you have to complete. It is mandatory in officer service period, and so it's best that you try and get your RUSU postings done as fast as possible so that you can rise further in the bank. And so that's all about the minimum amount. And for the urban areas, what are you going to get? At least it's usually 14,000, 15,000, and in some places like in tier 1 cities you are going to get 20,000. Like in Bangalore they are going to give you 20,000, and there is also an exception of Mumbai. So we know that Mumbai is extremely expensive. So in Mumbai they are getting 29,500 as rent and about 1,000 for the parking space component. So 30,500 you are going to get in Mumbai, and this is actually going to be revised because it's been a long time that these figures are there. So the revision is quite overdue, and very soon it's going to be revised. So a lot of amount is actually paid by SBI as leased accommodation so that the officers do not suffer. And remember, very very important, when you have taken the leased accommodation, your HRA will be removed from your salary component, so that leased accommodation will be paid fully by the bank and the HRA will no longer be paid to you. There is something called a rent recovery. So a nominal amount of 153 or 200 rupees or 250 rupees, something like that, will be cut from your salary. So this is just a small amount that's going to be cut, and you do not need to worry too much about that. And of course the brokerage and deposit, as I told you, everything is going to be paid by SBI and nothing you have to pay from your own pocket. Let us move to the next section, which is deductions from the salary slip. So now I will be showing you the salary slip again. So now you can see the deductions. So the EPF deduction, the employee provident fund, it is 10% of your basic, so that is deducted from your salary. As you can see, 2762 is deducted. Then you also have the professional tax, which is about 200 rupees per month, and this will actually vary from state to state and area to area, so don't worry too much about it. Then you also have the contributory pension fund, which is nothing but the NPS. So we know that SBI employees, they have the NPS scheme, and for that the amount that is cut over here, there is a slight difference. It is also 10% of basic plus DA, but the special allowance is not included there. So as you see, if we had 10% of only basic and DA, the amount, it should have been 4,184. But here what they are doing, they are actually calculating 47.8% of only the basic pay. So only the basic pay is 47.8%. It comes out to be 13,202. And now 13,202 they are going to be adding with 27,620. So this comes out to be around 4,082.24, and they round it off and they give you 4,083. So that is actually how this is calculated. So coming back, the EPF contribution I showed you, it's going to be 10%. So that is actually cut from your salary. And the professional tax, so this varies from state to state, and it will actually be deducted based on your state. Around 200 rupees it's there for most of the places. And of course you have your income tax. So this is actually a big component, but income tax calculations, this will be as per your slab, and so it will be varying a lot. And I'll be telling you a little bit how you can reduce this liability. Then we go to NPS deduction. So NPS, how much it is, as I showed you in the salary slip itself, the basic plus DA, 10% of that is actually calculated, but here the special allowance is actually not added. So that is how they are doing the NPS calculation, the NPS deduction calculation. So these are all deducted from your salary slip, and after the deductions you get your net pay. Now how do you reduce your deductions? As I told you, so there is something called the IDF form. So this is the actual website where you are going to be doing all of these things. So it is the HRMS SBI website, and there you have a form called the investment declaration form. So in that investment declaration form, what you can do, you can declare your investments, and you can say that okay, this is the amount that I have actually allocated towards my ATC calculation, and so that amount you can directly just put over there, and it will be deducted from your salary slip. Now the most interesting thing is that you can just go and fill up your IDF form without even doing all of these deductions, but just remember that by March 31st you must have made all of these contributions. So I will give you an advice. What you will be doing, this IDF form, you can do one thing, just go to the PPF section of the IDF form, put 1.5 lakhs over there, because then your ATC quota will be fulfilled. So put 1.5 lakhs at the beginning of the financial year, and your tax liability can be reduced significantly. And if you do this, we'll get to the calculations a little bit later, you can reduce your taxes by quite a lot. So you will only be paying around 1,000 to 1,500 per month. That is the amount that you can expect as of the latest calculations. However, it can vary from center to center a little bit. But this IDF form, always remember that in April you must declare that 1.5 lakhs. Then later on in the year, you can go ahead and make your contributions. You do not need to do that immediately. But if you do it immediately, this thing will be calculated in your salary slip. So it is by declaration. So that is why it is the investment declaration form. And then you can also opt out of the NPS tier 2. So sometimes some people will be opting in for the NPS tier 2, and their salary, a larger portion will be cut. But you can actually opt out of the tier 2 NPS, and if you do that, you can get the little bit more salary than those people who are involved in the NPS tier 2. So that's all about your deductions, and let's move to the allowances and the perks now. So these are all the extra things that I was talking about. So all the extra things that you can actually get. So there is a lot of extra things. So let's go one by one. So the first thing we have is the 4-in-1 allowance. So what is the 4-in-1 allowance? There are 4 things: newspaper, cleansing material, labor charges, and petrol allowance. So how are these things actually calculated? Well, first remember that these are on a declaration basis. So you do not really need to submit anything. So you do not need to submit bills here for cleansing material also, or even for petrol or labor charges. You do not need. However, remember that when you are taking the petrol allowance, you do need to have a registered vehicle. So they will be checking that, and your RTO papers you need to submit, and there will be a verification, and only then you will be given that allowance. Otherwise you cannot take that allowance. So now for a newspaper, how much amount you are given? For newspaper, you are given 550 rupees per month. So that is your newspaper. For your cleansing material, how much you are given? You are given 850 rupees. And now coming to the labor charges. So for the labor charges, you are actually given 620 rupees. Now there is a disclaimer over here that labor charges, you can only claim this if you have taken at least 1/3 of your furniture advance. So we are going to talk about the furniture advance a little bit later. You have to actually take 1/3 of your furniture advance, and only then you can be allowed to deduct this labor charges. And then you also have the petrol allowance. Now the petrol allowance, it actually varies quite a lot. So how this varies actually, if you are in a rural area, then the minimum you can get is 45 liters. Now remember, this minimum that I am talking about, it is for a bike. So for if you have a bike, then in a rural area you are going to get 45 liters, and in a urban area you are going to get 55 liters. So this is the variance in case you have a bike. And now if you have a car, then what happens? If you have a car and you are in the rural posting, then you will be getting 55 liter of petrol, and if you are in the urban area, then you are going to get 60 liters. Now these are also going to be revised soon, and periodically these things are revised. And remember that all of these things that I am talking about, these are all monthly. So monthly you are going to get this and this, and if you are adding all of these things up, so if you add all of these things monthly, you can expect around rupees 5,400. So this is the monthly amount that you can claim for your 4-in-1 allowance. And then you also have the furniture advance. So this furniture advance, this is actually an advance that is given to you of about rupees 1.2 lakhs, and you can use it to buy furniture for your house. You can also buy some electronics, so you can also buy laptop. So what the advice that most people give is that because you need to claim this labor charges, you have to take at least 1/3 of your furniture advance. So what you can do, you can actually buy a laptop from your furniture advance. Around 40,000 if you take, then you can buy a good laptop, and that laptop, it will allow you to claim the labor charges every month. And of course, if you want, you can take the entire 1.2 lakhs. That is also quite feasible. But remember that for the furniture advance, you need to show all the bills, and you need to show that you have actually bought the furnitures. It is not on a declaration basis. And usually this is actually locked in for 5 years. So every 5 years you can take your furniture advance, and you can get all the furniture that you need for your house. Then another very important thing is the medical allowance. So for the medical bills, almost 100% will be paid by SBI. So this is something huge actually, because all the medical bills that you have, so for any kind of sickness, any kind of small ailments that you have, you can just claim each and everything. And if the amount is actually a little bit above the threshold, then it will be going to the empaneled doctor, and the empaneled doctor has to put his signature that okay, these things are actually taken by the employee, and then you will be getting it. And most of the times I have seen that these doctors, they will be signing off all of your bills, because you are going to give genuine things, right? You are not going to go ahead and just claim that for the sake of claiming. You are going to do that only if you have some sickness. So the medical allowance, it's a huge thing. And of course, you are not going to get small things like for spectacles, etc. Those things you are not going to get. But if you have any sickness, and if you have to just get a lot of tests, if you have to take a lot of medications, all the things will be paid to you by SBI, and this alone will be worth lakhs actually. So the CTC goes up quite a bit when you take consideration of all the medical bills that are actually paid by SBI. And then after that you have the miscellaneous allowances. So there's the entertainment allowance, the tea or coffee allowance, the utility allowances. So for this you actually call it a balti allowance, so you can actually use it to purchase all the utilities in your house. And there is a briefcase allowance as well. Then there are also the LTC and the HTC. So these are also quite important, because LTC, like leave travel concession, and HTC, it means home travel concession. So people have been using LTC for foreign tours, and they have been using HTC to actually go to their places of domicile, and a lot amount is actually reimbursed by SBI. So these are the miscellaneous allowances, and everything will be given to you through the HRMS portal. So that portal is quite important actually, and all of the things are actually needed to be signed off by your branch manager, and that is how you can claim all of these allowances. Now let us go to the smart compensation package. Now I am sure that after you saw all of these different kinds of allowances and so many other things that you can get in addition to your salary, you are very confused. And in SBI also, a lot of people were quite confused, and that is why SBI has decided on the smart compensation package. So what is this SCP? This SCP, this actually allows you to get all of these various miscellaneous perks that we are talking about directly as a component of your salary slip. So all of these things you can get directly in your salary. So this is just some kind of a convenience. So if you want to increase your gross salary, कुछ लोगों का ऐसा हो सकता है कि शादी करनी है और लड़की वालों को इम्प्रेस करना है, तो उनके लिए तो बहुत ही सही है ये कि आप SCP ले लो, फिर आपका ग्रॉस सैलरी बहुत ज़्यादा इंक्रीज कर जाता है, और उसके बाद आप प्रूव कर सकते हो कि हाँ मैं PO हूँ तो इतना सैलरी मुझे मिल रहा है. So these are the kinds of things if you're going for a marriage. And besides, if you are actually bored of all of these different allowances and every time you have to remember, अच्छा हाँ वो allowance है जो मुझे claim करना था, etc. etc. All of these things, and sometimes some complications will happen, like your branch manager, he might be delaying your bills. So a lot of things actually happen. That is why many people these days are taking the SCP, the Smart Compensation Package. And when you are actually taking the Smart Compensation Package, the most important thing to remember is that all the perquisites, it become taxable. So everything becomes taxable. So all the tax has to be borne by you if you are actually claiming the Smart Compensation Package. So what are the things which are actually included in the Smart Compensation Package? Let's have a look at all of those things. So all these things which you were claiming monthly, your cleansing materials, casual labor, newspapers or magazines, conveyance expenses, entertainment expenses, mobile call charges or internet, residential and telephone broadband charges, as well as entitlements for furniture and fixtures, furniture annual maintenance charge, mobile handset, briefcase, utility, leave travel concession and home travel concession. So all of these things together you are going to get by the Smart Compensation Package. So now you understand what all it includes. Now you have to understand the actual amount you are going to be receiving with the Smart Compensation Package. So this is actually what you are going to receive. So on the first column that you can see, it's for the POs, TOs, the JMGS 1. So this is what is going to be applicable to you. The second column is the MMGS 2 and the next one is the MMGS 3. So it's for scale 2 and scale 3. Now remember that only up to scale 3 you can opt for this. So you are going to get 1,54,467 rupees. So this is the entire amount of the SCP that you are going to get annually as a PO. So per month how much it is? It is about 12,873 rupees per month. Now as you see over here, the superannuation benefits will be existing. So all of those things are actually remaining intact. The medical also will be excluded, and the leased accommodation or the HRA, these are also excluded. So these things are excluded and only the perquisites are included in this Smart Compensation Package. So now you understand perfectly about the SCP, the actual amount that you can add, and this is actually what I was talking about when I mentioned that you can get extra salary. So SCP is the way in which a PO can actually increase the salary by leaps and bounds. But when you do this, you need to pay tax. So is it actually worth it? When should you take it? Now I have done a lot of calculation about this SCP, and my friends have also done this, and now what we have found is that for scale 1 and scale 2 you are going to be mostly in profit. You are not going to lose because of the additional tax that you are going to be burdened with, but from scale 3 onwards definitely you are going to lose, and at the end of the scale 2 also you are going to lose. What does this mean? What do I mean by losing? It means that you are going to pay extra tax because you are under SCP. So the primary important thing to remember is take the SCP if you do not have an intention of staying in SBI forever. This is the most important thing. If you have the intention of leaving SBI for a better job, for a job like RBI, for a job like EPSC, then you can go ahead and take it. But if you want to stay in SBI forever, then do not take the Smart Compensation Package, because at the end in scale 2 and scale 3 you are going to lose because of the extra tax that is involved. And of course, if you are getting married, go ahead and take it, and you can show the bride's family that you are getting awesome salary. So okay, that's all about the Smart Compensation Package. And now finally let us do all the final calculations. So this is what you have been waiting for, I'm sure, about the exact in hand and about the calculation that I have told you that I will be showing you. So first of all, let me show you the salary slip. So again, you see the salary slip right now, 38,874. That's the take home pay, right? And as you see over here, this is the amount that I have written over here, 38,874. So this was my net pay for the first salary that I had received from SBI. Now remember that this was quite a while back, so we have to actually update it. So how are we going to update it? We go back to the salary slip and we need to make some changes now. So the DA figure that you can see over here, 47.8%, this has now been changed. This DA figure as of now, it is currently standing at 75.9%. So that's the first change that we make. Now we come to the basic pay. So the basic pay, it remains at 27,620. No changes over here. Now we come to the Dearness Allowance. Now this Dearness Allowance, you have to take into account the special allowance as well, as I told you. Now special allowance, there is no changes with the special allowance. So it remains at 2,140.55. But now we are calculating 75.9% DA, right? So the DA figure has to change. So we are going to take a combination of the basic and the special allowance, do 75.9% on that, and this reveals the current DA figure, which is 22,588.26. So this is our current DA figure. And now we go to the HRA. So the HRA is 1933.40. It remains the same. There is no change in the HRA figure. So this makes our total earnings as 54,282.21. So this is our total earnings. Now we come to the deductions. So the employee provident fund contribution, this will remain the same because it is 10% of basic and it is 2762. And of course the professional tax, it also remains the same, 200 rupees. But this NPS figure, this figure we need to change. It is no longer 4083 because remember what I told you, it will be 10% of your basic plus DA, but removing the special allowance. So if you calculate this, it comes out to be 4,859. So now what is the total deductions that we have? The total deductions comes out to be 7,821. So earnings of 54,282 minus 7,821, the net pay, it becomes 46,461.21. Let's get back and see 46,461. So this figure, this is an old figure. We cannot work with this. If you are a PO today, then you have to work with this figure. So your net pay, it comes out to be 46,461.21. Now remember that this we are calculating with what? We are calculating with HRA. So we have not taken into consideration the leased accommodation. Remember this. And now we have to add with this how much? We have to add 5,400 because as I told you, the 4-in-1 that you are going to get, that 4-in-1, this is the monthly thing that you are going to take. So 5,400. If you add these two, so how much it comes to? It actually comes to 51,861.21. So this is your net pay that you are going to get in hand per month. So per month 51,861.21. So this is if you are taking the 4-in-1 and you are actually manually taking your allowances. And of course it will be a little bit more than this because there are certain more allowances. But now we need to change this because we are actually taking the SCP. Most of the people are going to take the smart compensation package because if you do not take it, it's going to be your loss. There is a lot of amount involved and it becomes much easier rather than each and every month you are applying for all of the different perquisites and you have to remember a lot of things. So today most people, they want convenience, and so SCP is something that you are going to take. So we cannot add 5,400. What we have to add? We have to add 12,873. What we have to do? 46,461 plus 12,873. So how much figure this comes out to be? This comes out to be 59,334.21. So this is the actual amount that you are going to get in hand per month if you have taken the SCP. Remember 59,334.21. So it is almost close to 60,000. So it comes out to be 7.2 lakhs per year. But this is not actually matching with the 10 lakhs that I told you. So how we are going to get to that? For that, we need to add the leased accommodation as well, because the leased accommodation also you are going to be getting. And so for that, what we have to do, let's rub all this first and then I will be showing you. But we need to find out the gross salary first. So for the gross salary, we first have to take the 59,334.21. So this is the amount that we got, which is the net pay, right? 59,334.21. Now with that, we have to add a few things to get to the gross. What is that? We get back to the deductions that we were seeing. So this EPF amount we have to add back, right? 2,762. But remember now, this will not be 2,762 because SBI is also depositing an equal amount of this amount with your actual provident fund account. And that is why the amount that you must add back, that is double of 2,762, and it comes out to be 5,524 because SBI's contribution plus your contribution must be added together. So 5,524, and the next thing is 4,859, which is our NPS amount. So if you add both of these things, the total deductions, it comes to 10,383. Okay, so 10,383 383 we are going to be adding with this. So how much does this come to? This comes to 69,717.21. So 69,717.21. So it is almost close to 70,000. So almost close to 70,000 you are going to get as your gross salary. So if it is 70,000, how much does it come in annual terms? 70,000 into 12, it comes to 8.4 lakh. Now what we have to do, we have to factor in the leased accommodation as well. So the leased accommodation, as I told you, let's calculate it with the minimum figure. So the minimum figure, it was around 8,000, right? So 8,000 was the minimum amount of the leased accommodation that we were talking about. So if we only consider 8,000, then 8,000 into 12, how much it is? It is actually 96,000. Okay, 96k. However, we cannot actually add 96,000 because we are actually taking the HRA as well. So HRA we have to deduct, and it is around 1933. Let's consider it is 2,000. Then 2,000 into 12, it is how much? It is 24,000. So 24,000 now we have to actually deduct from 96,000, and if we deduct this, how much do we get? It actually comes out to be 72,000. So 72,000 you have to add with this 8.4 lakh. So let us just rub all this. So 8.4 lakhs plus you have to add 72,000, right? So how much does this actually come to? This comes to around 9.12 lakhs. And now with this 9.12 lakhs, you have to add a lot more as well. Why is that? Because remember, you have your medical reimbursements. So a lot of amount of medical reimbursements is actually going to be given to you. And then you have your 6 to 10 months of advance rent that is actually also paid by SBI. Nothing has to be paid from your pocket. Then you also have something called the traveling allowance bills. So the TA bills that we call. So TA bills are actually bills that are incurred by you when you are going on official work. So a lot of actually amount is given to you as TA bills. Then you will also have other expenses and reimbursements, and everything, it will actually add up to even more than a lakh. So even if you take a lesser figure, then also it will be around 1 lakhs, and it will be actually totaling 9.12 plus 1. So it goes over 10 lakhs. So the actual cost to company CTC that actually SBI is paying SBI PO is more than 10 lakh rupees per annum. And I hope that you now have a clear idea about the salary that you can expect as an SBI PO. And remember one thing, that this is the lowest range. So we have all considered things which are for the rural posting, and for the city posting, for the urban, for the Mumbai, Delhi, those kinds of locations, you are going to get a lot more. And that is how we actually end up with the figure like 12 lakhs per annum. So even in the minimum sense, you can expect at least 10 lakhs gross. But remember, your in-hand payment, it is only going to be this figure, 59,334.21. So almost 60,000 it is going to be in hand. But of course, all these things are not free. There is a lot of work to be done when you are an SBI PO. You will be having a lot of workload, but this is what you are getting in exchange. Financially, you are going to get rewarded. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button and share it with your friends. And if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to this channel, and do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I hope that you learned something from this video and it was beneficial to you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.